Hi, you guys. It was interesting to see that the video I did last night, uh, I looked a little bit like Night of the Living Dead. Um, and it surprised me because I didn't feel that bad. So it's interesting. Sometimes the internal uh, part of us can feel pretty frisky, and the outside looks, you know, less than frisky. Um, so I've been for a walk today. I think I look a little happier. And I was so surprised because I was actually able to walk as well as I did last year at this time. And I thought I'd lost so much ground. If you've been on a walker and a cane, oh my God, I locked the door this time. He's not going to come in. Um, it's like old dog, new tricks. I don't know. I have a sign up now and a door. Anyways, shut up. All right. What I was thinking about this morning, because I went back over my journal and, I haven't been able to write in it very much, or I haven't. And a couple of things occurred to me um, as I read back over the journal. Is it's about the journey. Same little prefix. And I think it's important, at least for me, to uh, keep recording it. Otherwise, I don't have any sense of progress on the journey. It's like a mile marker or something. It really shows that, no, we aren't in the same place we were a few weeks ago. And we've regained ground and we're back on the path. So I think that's significant. And the other thing was, as I read over the journal, there were parts that were, well, the thing about comedy is often, what makes us laugh could also make us cry in a slight tweak in perspective, and it would be just, oh, the humanity. And I found myself laughing hard at things that were not really all that funny. And in part was able to laugh because they hadn't happened to me. My daughter went to visit a friend of hers in New York, all ready to have a good time, and she's pretty funny too. We share a kind of sense of humor, but it was a miserable visit. She got sick. Oops, sorry. See, that's the hitting the mic. She got sick. The guy she was visiting was busy working. He didn't pay any attention to her. He was in a crowded, he has like 8 roommates in a big house in Brooklyn. So everybody was coming and going, and, he just went about his day. He went to the gym. He did, it was his routine. So she didn't get to see him, and he didn't, bring her tea when she was sick. And so she decided, I'll head home. And on the subway home, it was, scary New York subway situation where there were bodily functions going on, each one an uptick worse than the one before. And she was kind of running from car to car, kind of help me. Maybe it was on the train from New York to New London. In any case. And then when she got home, this friend called her and said, I have bed bugs, and I think you brought them in. He's living with 8 people in a flop house in Brooklyn, and he thought that my daughter was responsible for the bed bugs. And all of this just made me laugh till I was ready to cry. And humor is the dividing line between laugh, cry. This is funny, this is tragic, is pretty permeable. You see the guy whose pants fall down and, in slapstick, pie in the face, Roadrunner, is it Roadrunner? This cartoon where the Wile E. Coyote is always running off the cliff and getting blown up and it's kind of, ha ha ha, this is fun for the kids. So there's something about that and I do it all the time. I find myself staggering. I have to get used to the mic being closer. Staggering around the house. And sometimes I'll just crack up. It's just funny. So what's that about? The journaling, the journey, the humor, the sadness. Here we go. Well, that's weird because that card was out on the board and I stuck it back in the middle of the deck. And out Hermit comes again, out of the cave, into the world. Card of Virgo, the teacher who gets enlightenment by going into a dark place to get the light, right? The psyche, because this is a major arcana card, so it refers to the deep energies. And this is the part of you that knows and that's willing to go into the dark to get the kind of sacred knowledge, to get the light, comes back, lights the path on a journey. And it's a solo journey. It's the 9 card, which speaks to the individual. And, there are certain spiritual lessons that we have to do on our own. Nobody goes into the cave with us, not into this particular cave. Hermit is a card of the teacher, of the sage, the one who comes back with something. And there are all kinds of mythological stories where people come back with, Prometheus comes back with the fire and gets punished for it by the gods. And I don't, I'm smiling. I happen to be a Virgo, but you don't have to be a Virgo to have that card resonate for you. Because I think most people who watch videos like this are on a spiritual path, the journey. You might want to start journaling if you haven't already. Mine big gaps when I'm sick or sad or whatever, but it's useful to go back and look and say, oh, that's what was happening then. Star card. Card of Aquarius, card of healing, the healing journey, something you can share because you're guided there. You're not alone. I mean, this is a card of being alone. Carrying the lantern, the light. Star card, the light, again. The knowledge, the sacred knowledge that Hermit comes back with. It's a card of the collective. Hermit is a card of the individual. And that interface between who we are and what's happening in the world, or what's happening in the deepest recesses of our psyche that connects us to the collective. We keep getting these sort of esoteric messages. And sometimes I wish it were just about the tall, dark stranger who we're going to meet. And it might be. But this is something to do with your path and your role as an enlightened person. Tough it out. You're a teacher and a sage on a spiritual path. Next card out. Yeah, in that same sword energy as star card, Aquarius, an air sign. Air energy card of 6 of Swords. That's movement toward a calmer state of mind. Hermit energy is very calm. It's very grounded. Virgo, earth sign. Guided to the healing place, something calmer, a calmer state of mind. Sword energy often refers to thought and speech and clarity. Okay. Under Hermit, what do we have? Tell us more. Well, there's the journey, isn't it? Page of Wands. You know, El Camino, the walking stick, the pilgrim on the path. You know, having a sense of direction. It's a new path, page energy. Forward movement, away from some kind of mental busyness. Like I had written down here somewhere, can't think straight. You know, Six of Swords is about a passage toward, and it's liminal. It's like crossing over into a place where you can think more clearly. Moving perhaps out of a can't think straight energy of Five of Swords. Under Star, King of Cups. The healing power of love, the ability to embody love. On the love path, King of Cups, you know, cups are about connection. This may be a new path toward connection. It's intuitive, but it's also got a cerebral, you know, thinking mind aspect to it. So somehow intuition, the intuitive mind and the analytical mind or the thinking part of us are kind of attuned. Wands are intuitive energy. Moving intuitively into a more loving state of mind. Give us some nitty-gritty. The real nitty-gritty. Another major arcana card. Judgment. New life, second chances, the call. You know, Gabriel blowing the horn, come back to life. And often it depicts people coming out of the coffin. You know, rising up. It can be a card of forgiveness, of reconciliation. Three major arcana, three minor arcana. There's something about a balance between daily life and the deep internal life. The healing journey. Hermit. Star. Page of Wands. Is it this? Okay, is it all of these? Okay, on Page of Wands, Empress. Divine Feminine. Earth energy, Taurus. Divine Feminine may be redirected in that Wands energy sense of direction, maybe on a path, on a new path. You know, a path of new life, a path of second chances, a kind of second wind. I've definitely experienced second wind, which is an interesting expression, but that, like on the journey, you're tired, suddenly you get a second wind. Tell us about judgment and the second wind. Two of Pentacles. That can be a card sometimes known as the dance of change. You know, weighing up something. What do I do now? What matters more? Changes in the wind. Second wind. It's earth energy, so it's in the energy of Empress. Empress has a choice of which way to go. Also in the energy of Hermit. A choice to go inwards, get the wisdom, and then have it guide you. Page of Wands, Star card. There's something, you're guided on this journey. You're not alone. It will lead to some kind of important change, and it seems to me it's a change for the better. The mind is calming down. The waters are smoothing out. There was something about the journey that was quite rough in the past. The journey has periods that are rough, doesn't it? We're on smooth ground, smooth waters. We go around a corner, somehow around a bend, and suddenly it's chaos again, and then it's calm again. It's kind of back and forth like that. It's just like that, says Pema Chodron. Tibetan Buddhist nun who is very funny and very, doesn't mind scaring the people who are listening to her. She'll scare us and then she laughs about it. On Hermit, 6 of Pentacles, that's that sharing card in Earth energy, like Hermit, Virgo. This is equal exchange. Coming back into the world, and it's very balanced. The scales here, I don't know if you can see them. Balanced relationship. It's a card of giving, helping people. Hermit, a teacher, a sage, comes back into the world, back into 3D life to help. Virgo is a card of service. And not in the sense of subservient, just in the sense of you've got something to give. To people who are in need. In traditional Rider-Waite, it shows kind of the rich guy doling out coins to, see, that's the trouble with that, to beggars, people in real need, perhaps in financial need. Empress is a card of great abundance in Earth energy. Libra, Virgo, Libra, Taurus. So in air energy on the board, we have this moving into the calmer place. Empress energy is very stable, very grounded, very giving, very resourceful, willing to share the resources, willing to share whatever we've learned, because this is us, male or female, willing to share the resources. The sacred, we've gone into the cave. We've been brave enough to do that. We come back out, we light the path for other people. Using the light of the guides. It's like we got the light and then we're reflecting it back out into the world, perhaps into the collective. You're lighting the path. No pressure, you're lighting the path. 7 of Cups on 6 of Swords. That's a card of options. It may be one of the options now is to move on out of conflict into calmer waters. This is Cups energy. There may be more to love out there. Isn't there always more to love out there? It can also be a card of confusion. Like I don't understand what I feel. But we're being led into calmer waters, in that sword energy Aquarius now by the guides. Into the light. On King of Cups, Strength card. Card of Leo. King of Cups energy is wanting to love, ready to love, and a little bit hesitant to love. They know what's at stake. Pleasure and pain, loss and gain. Pride and shame. These are Pema Chodron ideas of these opposites we need to reconcile. Despite the fact that King of Cups person, understands what vulnerability can cost, I think willing to take the risk, summoning their fortitude, their personal power to push forward, perhaps out of confusion, into some kind of mental clarity, confusion about what we feel, what King of Cups feels. I have a feeling that's another person trying to sort out what they feel. They may have made you an option. You may have had to go deep inside and tap into your hermit energy, your divine feminine energy, everything grounded, real, dependable, and at the same time sacred, sharing information that's sort of outside the... It's hard to talk about it. It's ineffable. It's hard to get your hands on it. I think, because this is a card of courage, and in this case, it's the courage to feel. Even when you may be confused, Seven of Cups, you don't really know what you feel or what the options are. This is the position this King of Cups person is in. And they may be confused and trying to make up their mind about what they want to do, who they want to be, what they want to make real, Pentacles energy. And it is, I think Spirit is asking for an equal exchange, a balanced exchange. There's not a lot here that speaks to imbalance. On Star card, Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands. Divine Feminine, on a new path. It's a spiritual path. You're a mystic. You read the energies. That's how you find your direction. Your direction. You're walking the path, and it's not wands can be about doing and power and so on. This is one who doesn't go out in the world and get busy. They might, but their principal energy is about stuff mystical, the intuitive stuff, the intuitive path. Queen of Wands, the intuitive path, listening to the guides. She's the mystic. Could be a he or they or whatever. Courage, strength. I think these two individuals might have a meeting place, a place of equal exchange in 3D. But this one will have to kind of pony up, have the courage to love, have the strength and fortitude, and the compassion for themselves and for the other person, perhaps for their divine feminine. Who's on her own path, moving ahead. King of Cups may have to catch up. I think both parties are moving, into clarity, out of confusion about how they feel about something. Is it this one? Is it this one? Is it on the split? It's on the split. Page of Cups. That's a small gesture. If this person has been confused, if they've been confusing you, if they've made you an option, there's a I'm sorry for that. I don't have, I can only show a little love right now. Okay, hang on. Is it this one? Okay. I can only show a little love right now, but it's a sincere gesture. Kind of like a fish out of water, They may feel uncomfortable and confused. What is this love business, this feeling business? It makes me feel vulnerable. I think there is a desire to summon courage and follow Empress, because Empress doesn't chase. So this person may want to follow Empress on the path. You may be the trailblazer in this relationship. High Priestess. Card of Cancer, Pisces. The one who sees beyond the veil. The one with that kind of intuition. Who listens to the guides. Who intuits the direction. Can't explain it to the other person. It's ineffable. What I was saying before, it's hard to talk about. King of Cups, whoever this other person is, may not understand. You may speak different languages. Different love languages. And that may have, that may have caused conflict in the past in terms of communication, sword energy, arguments, misunderstanding, all these attributes of swords, speech, clarity, understanding, or the lack thereof. King of Cups may be saying, I'm sorry. I didn't understand. I still am confused. About what I feel, about what my options are. What am I to do? Do I have the courage to walk this path? And it's a kind of day-by-day progress, journaling, the journey. I think the root meaning is jour, the French for day. And this is the last card out, and it's Hangman. Card of Pisces. Getting the new perspective in that energy of King of Cups. It's water energy, processing feelings, achieving some kind of epiphany. And the epiphany doesn't come, boom, like a lightning bolt. It takes a while. So this person is coming out of confusion about what they feel, but they're processing it. So right now, perhaps the only thing they can say is, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the argument. I'm sorry I didn't understand. I don't really speak this language. The language of intuition, the language of the mystery. And you can't translate it for them. They have to do it for themselves. 9 card, hermit. They have to go into the cave. That part of the journey they have to do, and they may have already done it, or be in the process of doing it. 6 of Swords is kind of like on the way, liminal space, not quite there. And do we ever really arrive? I'm afraid not. There may be legs of the journey. Oh, man. Legs of the journey when we get to a place, a resting place, a calm place. And then we have to, pick up the walking stick and move again. Breaking trail. I'm sorry, I just can't stop when it's this kind of card. Card of manifestation. The Magician, Virgo, Gemini. How to bring it through. And I think maybe for this, well, I think you're a major manifestor. You kind of got the chops for this. You're Queen of Wands, High Priestess, Empress. You've been around the block. But this person is catching up. It'll take them a little more time because they have a lot of feelings to process and they feel vulnerable. They feel sometimes confused. So they have to stop and process the feelings. King of Cups, Hangman, 7 of Cups. On the journey. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with 1 step, or whatever that. Start moving, Divine Masculine. Have the courage. Keep moving, Divine Feminine. You've already got a knowledge. You've already been into the cave. You've gotten that enlightenment. You're the mystic. You're intuitive. And that's all she wrote. Spirit speaks. I love you guys.